Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Interns, a podcast by the World Affairs Council of Harrisburg. This week, COVID Spotlight will focus on Zambia. The Around the World in 90-second segment will focus on the impact of Brexit on meat in Northern Ireland. Our main discussion is about young people's thoughts on the COVID vaccine.
And now the COVID segment.
Zambia announced its first official COVID-19 infections on March 18th, 2020. Schools, bars, taverns, and nightclubs were all closed down by the end of March. However, as of September 11th, 2020, they have all reopened to full capacity. There is still a mask mandate, however, for anyone in public or on public transport. For entry into the country, a negative COVID test is required within 14 days of arrival. As of today, there have been 152,000 cases of COVID-19 in Zambia. COVID vaccine rollout began on April 14th, 2021 in Lusaka. 228 doses were received and frontline health workers were prioritized.
And now the Around the World in 90 seconds.
So the EU has agreed to delay Brexit meat checks in Northern Ireland, and this decision allows the continued movement of chilled meat products between Great Britain and Northern Ireland until the end of September. The European Commission has granted the UK a 3-month extension because they are trying to attempt to diffuse the tensions that have been infiltrating European politics since Brexit happened. The EU still has concerns about protecting its single market, and the British government still wants to maintain a sense of sovereignty, but they're hoping that this extension will help to ease into some of the business changes that are going to be happening and will help to diffuse some of the tensions.
And now the main discussion.
Hi, my name is Gabriel Humphrey, and I go to Susquehanna Township High School.
Hey, I'm Megha Shinmugam, and I go to Cumberland Valley High School.
I'm Ariana Jenna, and I am a junior at Lebanon Valley College.
I'm Anthony Carter, and I go to the Haverford School, and I'm a sophomore.
And today we will be discussing young people and vaccinations. So from what we understand about the US, currently there is a small number of young people, about like 1/3 of them getting vaccinated, and that would be like Gen Z and younger millennials.
Yeah, and this is, although we can be happy that people are getting vaccinated, right? It's still a huge issue because, it's that this is where the issue lies. We don't have enough young people getting vaccinated. And to be quite honest, young people are the ones that are going out the most. So when we see that only, around 30% as of May are getting vaccinated, it's problematic.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Going off what Ariana said, like the young people are the ones that are always taking risks, going out. And if we were to get the vaccines, like us young people, we're most likely to spread it and put others in danger. So it's important that the older people do get vaccinated, but right now, like the young people are the most liability in spreading. So it's important that we get vaccinated first.
I definitely agree. I feel like, especially with COVID and the information that came out from it, a lot of people from what I've seen think that younger people, they can't die or get sick from COVID, when that's not the case. And even if you don't get sick, you can spread it to other people. So it's really important that we do get vaccinated. So it's really unfortunate that a lot of young people have these opinions towards the virus.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's different from like the older generations that aren't getting the vaccine. For young people, it's like I've noticed personally, like it's more like, oh, it's fine, I can get it later. Like they push it over. They push it like past it, like I can get it later. And it's not like it's more like about the fact that they don't know that they should probably get it now. It's just education.
Yeah, and I think, everybody is susceptible to disinformation, misinformation, and I think that that's definitely hitting younger generations, as well as, older generations. But on top of that, I think it's more of like this feeling, at least from what I've seen, of a lot of people saying, well, I'm healthy, so I don't need to get it, right? Like if I was older, yeah, I'd get it, but I'm 18, I'm healthy, I don't need it. But then with this new Delta variant coming out, I know a study from Yale Medicine pretty much said that children and adults under 50 are shown to be 2.5 times more likely to be infected with Delta, and that this Delta variant could lead to like hyper local outbreaks. So when we see places, you know, certain states, Missouri being one of them, Alabama, Arkansas, that have these, you know, low, like actually really disproportionate number of unvaccinated people, this is becoming alarming. And, you know, it's kind of frustrating because it feels like we're just getting out of COVID and getting there, and then it's nope, we're back in.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, just COVID has just been there for like the past 2 years. Like, right when we think we're getting progress of vaccinations, other things come up, like different variants, people not actually getting vaccinated, not taking it serious enough. And like that goes along when the US is taking the mask mandate off. And I feel like that's one of the main reasons why they're doing this, is just to force people to get vaccinated. If you get vaccinated, you can get your mask off. And like that's kind of like encouraging people, you got to get vaccinated. And like one of the main things is that social media plays a big role right now, like especially for young people. Like if their friend got vaccinated, they would put it on their stories, their pages, like their socials, and they'll be like, oh, my friend got vaccinated, I need to get vaccinated too. So I think it's just like that's one of the positive impacts of how social media is helping, especially with the young celebrities posting that get vaccinated, we're doing it, you should do it too. And then some people look up to them and they're like, okay, they're getting vaccinated, I can get vaccinated too.
So are we all of the consensus that like influencers and social media are going to play a big part in getting young people out there? Like, is that, yeah, I'm seeing everybody's nodding their head. I know people on podcast won't be able to hear, but we all seem to agree that.
Yeah, like I think that with everything, it's just the young people, like they don't read newspapers that much anymore. They don't like even like news outlets on TV, like they aren't, what some of them, most of them aren't watching that as much. And it's just the influencers people see growing up, like a lot of Gen Z grew up with influencers just there. So they definitely are very reliable people to help get these young people out.
And for those listening, an influencer who don't know this is someone on social media who's got a large platform, a lot of people following, and can sway people. And I had even saw this thing on PBS about the influencer complex that is essentially saying that, yes, influencers can spread disinformation and misinformation, but also they can really persuade, especially younger people, but people in general. So then when we look at, you know, the White House bringing in Olivia Rodrigo, that's going to really turn some heads, and hopefully in the best way possible. What do you all think about that?
I think that was really good, because I feel like having somebody who's a young role model to many people is a really good example for younger people to be like, oh, well, she's promoting getting vaccinated. Sure, then I should get vaccinated as well. I think that's really good. And like, no offense to people in the White House, but I feel like a lot of younger people aren't really going to listen to like some older person talking about getting vaccinated versus somebody who's younger and they can relate to, especially somebody who they like their music. So I think it was a really good idea.
I think we saw kind of how young people think about it, because I think like when the younger generation started getting involved in getting people out to vote, like we noticed a huge increase in young people just coming out to vote, because it was like a definite, so just like, well, like these older people are like saying voting matters, but like it's hard for young people to like believe that, because like all your life you've been listening to them, and there's been some things that they probably said that you've been like, that's not right, that's not, like, in, as we've seen like with young people protesting stuff, there's a lot of things that they disagree with, and it's a way to, by going through influencers that they can relate to, it's a way to get to them without having them put up a defensive barrier.
Yeah, and I think, you know, this has been something that's a part of our history. I know that Elvis Presley even got his polio vaccine on camera, right, to try to get people to go out and get their polio vaccine. So this tactic has been used for years, and I just wish that more world leaders would participate, right? Like in Brazil, the Brazilian president, President Bolsonaro, he refused to get his vaccine on television. Same with former President Trump. And, you know, this is no comment on their presidencies. It's just more of a comment on, I think it would have been a lot more effective in getting the American public vaccinated if they would have done so themselves, to show the American public that this is something, you know, you can do, it is safe, that look, I'm doing it and you can do it. Because at the end of the day, they did get vaccinated, you know, it's just a matter of they didn't want the public to see for some reason. And it's a little bit frustrating.
Yeah, that's definitely a major point, especially with the Biden administration. They're just pushing it. Like every time they got vaccinated, they put it on all medias, and then people are like, oh, okay, our president's getting vaccinated. It shows that if he's getting vaccinated and if he's healthy, then our nation's going to be good, and we got to support that. And especially like right now with young people, with Olivia Rodrigo promoting, as she's like one of the biggest people everyone's talking about, listening to her music, everyone's checking on her. And if she's getting it, like everyone's just going to be like, oh, she's getting it. Like I should probably get it too, and it just promotes it. And I think that's really important, especially during these times.
I think that it's about a domino effect. Like I remember when my friends started getting vaccinated, like I kind of pushed it back too, like in the beginning, because I was like, I can just get it later. Like I'm fine, like I'm younger, I can put it later, and that's a lot of fabric. But once my friends started, I was like, I kind of want to get it too, because it's about like it's about fitting in kind of, and like I want to get the vaccine too. I don't want to miss out. I don't want to lose an opportunity to do something because I'm not vaccinated with them too. So it's like about getting their friends to do it, and then they'll get their other friends to do it, and just creating a domino effect to spread, and it'll multiply in bigger and better amounts.
Yeah, I think social pressure is so important, but the problem is when you're in a group of like-minded individuals and none of them want to get vaccinated, then where is that social pressure coming from? And I think that that's a huge challenge, because you see, you know, certain states, large number in, you know, like I said before, Alabama and Alaska were prime examples, Missouri, where young people are not getting vaccinated. And I wonder if it's because that social pressure isn't there and it's as prevalent, and maybe that's what it is. And maybe that's what, you know, kind of needs to be there. Maybe there needs to be more, you know, because right now, like I go down to Atlantic City, sometimes I live very close. So I can, walking down the street, I can see a bunch of people lined up to get into a restaurant, no masks inside. Maybe in that situation, you have to say, no, you have to wear a mask unless you prove you're vaccinated. And that way there's kind of that social pressure there, even if not all your friends are doing it. I don't know what that would look like, but it seems like that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, definitely. Social pressure, I feel like definitely with social media it's there, but then when it's kind of like around your area or within your friend groups or people, like you have peer pressure, and if others aren't doing it, you're not going to do it. Like every time I would go to a friend's birthday party or like a party, and then like they'll be like, I'm vaccinated, and then I'll be like, oh, I didn't get fully vaccinated yet. They're like, I'm going to take my mask off, and I'm just like, oh, I still can't. So I think that definitely plays into it, like, okay, I need to get this done quick so then I can like Xavier said, fit in. And I think peer pressure definitely falls into that. But if it's like rural areas where people just don't have that belief of getting vaccinated, then it's kind of hard to reach out. And I think that's where government and other people need to play in and just try to get them vaccinated, because if they do, then our nation's going to be way better.
I agree, especially with how Ariana said about like the restaurants talk about how you need to be vaccinated in order to enter, and like places like I guess like Wawa, where it's like you need to be vaccinated and then you don't have to wear a mask. Certain things like that, which are like benefits, I guess, where they help you, where they just like basically say if you're vaccinated, you can do this. I feel like that part and that social pressure really helps more people get vaccinated, because they see that as, okay, I can go back to normal life in a sense if I get vaccinated. So I think that's like really important.
Yeah, and of course there's, you know, inherent problems with that as well. You know, you don't want to infringe on people's rights. Of course, you know, I think public health is important. So, you know, someone's right to go to a concert without being vaccinated versus the health of everybody in the concert. I think the health of everybody in the concert's a little bit more important. You can go home and listen to the music, right? But also you don't want to put that pressure on, you know, the service industry to have to be the ones to kind of check people all the time. Because I mean, the service industry is already going through so much, and to have to be the ones to try to promote this, especially to young people, it's hard. And I think that that's such a tricky situation to navigate. And that's, you know, part of the reason why so many young people aren't getting vaccinated. And it's sad to say. And I hope a lot of people kind of wake up, because I'm a college student. I want to go back on campus and have a normal, actually, for the first time ever, I want to have a normal college year. All of my college experience has not been normal. So yeah, I really want people to be able to do that, but I know that there's inherent challenges with that as well, which is hard.
Yeah, definitely. And going off like restaurants saying that you got to wear masks inside. I think it was just a couple weeks ago, Chipotle was giving out like a deal, like buy one get one free if you, and it was like promoting vaccines, and that just shows like if restaurants were to promote it and people buy a lot from Chipotle, and it's just like it's kind of nice to see how like other companies are trying to promote vaccines because it's that important, especially for businesses if they want to run, especially like restaurants, if they want to run and like have a safer environment for the people to come in, people need to get vaccinated. And if they don't, then it's going to be harder because when you go to eat food, you can't eat with your mask on, you got to take it off, and there's like a lot of transmission could be spread with the virus. And if people get vaccinated, it's just better for the business and better for ourselves too.
I think something else that might be a factor is I think young people's lack of involvement in certain things. Like I was talking to someone in a non-profit foundation that I was working with, and he was like, "I'm not getting the vaccine," and he was like, based on the history of like African Americans and stuff like that, and like the mistreatment of minorities. But it was also like there's not many young people like in the fields that are being done. Like there is like sort of a mistrust in like the stuff done in the past. Like it's the same people that are doing it now. So it's like they might do something like wrong again. Like you don't know.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that, hopefully more people that are young, like younger people, will feel more pressured with this Delta variant. I hate to say that because at the same time, like I would, I don't want to see anybody have to be infected, and that's not at all what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I hope people see that in the news this Delta variant is happening and then feel the need, okay, now I should go get it. But I don't think that's the case. I really don't. And when I look at the people around me and the young people around me that I know that aren't getting vaccinated, when they see that there's this new variant that is even more likely to infect them and put them in the hospital, I've seen tons of research that says that younger people are taking up more and more hospital beds than they ever have. I get concerned because what is it going to take for young people to realize if you want a normal life, if you want your normal life back, if you want to be healthy, safe, and feel safe, you got to get the vaccine. And I think, I hope that people aren't just succumbing to disinformation, but I think that might be the case. I even know at my work, one day I walked in and the girl, one of my coworkers who's my age, looked at me and said, the vaccine causes infertility. And I said, no, I don't think it does, but, maybe look into that a little more, And I think that is kind of plaguing us. And I think that's really going to weigh us down. And I think that young people might be the ones to really, hurt our chances of really getting out of this. And that's sad to say. And I think a lot of it also comes from apathy. I think a lot of younger people, we've seen so much in our entire lives, we've been handed these crisis situations, right? I know Gen Z from the day we were born, we had 9/11, then we had the 2008 recession, we've been in wars across the sea for our entire lives, the climate crisis, this huge national debt. We are used to all of these crazy situations, and I think we've become really apathetic and not wanting to take action. Would you all agree with that?
Definitely. I think it's just that we're used to at this point. When the older generation, when they talk about 9/11, like it brings them so many bad memories. But for us, like we were so young, like we didn't really understand it. And I think we're just so used to it. We just think it's normal at this point. It's like, oh, the pandemic's there. It's just going to be around, but we don't take it as serious as like the older generations do, because they're so much more concerned about like the future, while us, we're just kind of like, this is the future. We're kind of used to it. And I think that just plays a big role now.
I think that also it's like has to do with the young people being young. And I think that one part, this one specific part of the brain that is like cause and effect or like consequences that is like not developed until like 25 probably has a lot to do with it, with people just not understanding that, well, if you don't do this, then this is gonna happen. Like it's gonna happen. And I think it's just you need to have sit down and you need to figure out how to get them to understand without making them feel attacked, because when people feel attacked, they often just put up barriers and they won't like have the conversation and do it. So that's like the celebrities. That's why celebrities are so good, because you don't usually feel attacked because they're distant from you, but they're also like close to you. So it's like, it's just like someone telling you, like, you can do, telling you information to do this. But like when a stranger might be like, you need to get vaccinated, it's just like, excuse me, who are you? You know?
Yeah, it's definitely like young people are at fault here because we're always like high in pride. Like we're like, oh, we know everything. Like we always act like we know everything, but we really don't. We're actually just trying to act like we know everything. And I think that just gets to us that it's like, oh, I don't need to get the vaccine. I have enough immunity, but you really don't. Like this vaccine, like no one knows the origin. I mean, not vaccine. No one knows the origin of this COVID and everything. It's just like the vaccine's the only thing that we know that can fight against it. Like it's just a threat at this point, but we just don't take it serious enough. I mean, a lot of young people, like some, like us, we do see the importance of getting vaccinated, but sometimes it's also the parents that might think, oh, no, you shouldn't get vaccinated, and all these like misinformation, like, oh, if you get vaccinated, you're gonna get future health problems. We don't know what's gonna affect for people like your age. And then even if a kid wants to get vaccinated, obviously the parent has to drive them and show like all these insurance cards and stuff in order for the kid to get vaccinated. But sometimes it's all the parents' fault too, thinking that it's not good for my kid. But usually the kid might want to get vaccinated, but it all depends on parents. So it's like vice versa. It could be parents' pressure, or it could just be the kid not wanting to. So that goes hand in hand.
Yeah, and I think for young adults, I mean, when we're talking about young adults, we're talking about people 18 to 29. So parents, and someone's 28, they might not have a huge say, but I would hope that the people around you and the people that are in your life that care about you and your well-being would try to push you to do this for your health, right? So like if I'm 20 right now, if I was vaccine hesitant, I would hope that my mom, although she can't be the one to say you have to go get it, right? Because I'm an adult, I can make my own decisions. I would hope that she would say, hey, here's the information about it, and you should really look into it, and I think it would be good for you. And I'm not saying that it's 100% parents' responsibility, but I just hope that the people around young people are steering them in the right direction, because that's kind of the role of our parents and our grandparents and our guardians is to help us be healthy and safe and happy. So although they can't sit here and say you have to go get it, I would hope that they're advising and saying I think it'd be a good idea. But as you say, Mega, there are times when people are saying I don't think you should get it, you're young. And now we see the Delta variant, and that's potentially fatal for young people. So you're totally right. I think that parents can play a huge role, but it's a scary thing, and I hope that young people really start to get vaccinated. And I hope we have some already, and I would like to see more. I hope we keep seeing people like Olivia Rodrigo coming up and getting out there. So I think that you can go to vaccine.gov to find the nearest vaccination site, and you can please, if you're going to look for information, go to somewhere trustable. Go to the CDC. Go to your doctor. Don't go to Facebook, right? Really have a in-depth conversation with your doctor, with someone that you trust about the benefits of this, and really look into, especially now with the Delta variant, all the information you can, and get out there, get vaccinated, and stay healthy.
Yeah, and going off that, definitely get vaccinated. It's very important right now in order for us to go forward. And right now, it's not that hard to find that many. Before, it used to be hard to find where would you get vaccinated, but now almost many locations starting to have vaccination booths. If you go to your local pharmacy, they'll give you a free vaccination. If you go to your local stores or the big stores like Costco, Sam's Clubs, they're doing vaccinations. So just go around wherever you would get your flu shot. They most likely would have a COVID vaccination, and it just takes 2 minutes or a minute or so. And once you're done, you're just ready to go and face the day. So everyone stay healthy and get vaccinated as soon as possible.
Thank you so much for listening to the interns. This is our take on young people and the vaccine. Have a great rest of your day, and continue listening.
Thank you for listening to our first of 2 short podcasts that we will be releasing this week. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you tune into further podcasts. Thank you.